Wow. This is our first wonder of the world together.
Chichen Itza. Good morning from Chichen Itza. We woke up early this morning at 6 a.m. and our guide Daniel picked us up at 6:30.
How's everything going, guys?
Good, how are you?
Very bien.
A cold and early start to the day.
We chose to do a private tour because we wanted all the information and not all the stress of a large bus. It took us 2.5 hours to get here, and now we're gonna go in and explore one of the wonders of the world. We had a little bit of a problem with bringing our microphone in, so he just went to put that back in the car, and then we're gonna start our tour.
You know, as a result of this mixing of cultures, it's coming from Central Mexico. I can tell you that the only real Mayan thing is the temple on top of it. But if you see, we have a staircase splitting this 9 into 2. If the count, or if you multiply them, 5 times 4 is equal to 20, which is the number of days in each month. Carvings. Each side has a carving. Oh. All these carvings are portraits of warriors. Warriors, but non-Maya warriors. They're all coming from other areas. They're bringing symbols that are not Maya, weapons that are not Maya. We believe it's the Hall of Fame of the Toltecs that participate in this conquest of the Yucatan.
The hair is going up.
The hair is going up. Can't burn the scalp.
The base of the pillar and a sacrificial stone in the middle.
So our guide said that this compound probably took 10 years to build, but the structure behind me only took 6 months. This is very impressive because they didn't have any metal back then. It was all human labor, and it was all very intentional of what everything means. And it's all very connected to the calendar, to the human body, to the seasons. It's all intentional. And when the spring equinox happens, the sun rises between 2 pillars, which are snakes, which is really cool. The fact that it's made out of limestone, when you clap, it like echoes back and it sounds like a bird.
There you go. Yeah, normally. This road is original and connects the main plaza with the well of the sacrifices. That's the one that Diego de Landa mentioned, and that's where we get the name of the city from. In the mouth of the well of the Itzas, yellow, orange, green, and it's a good example of how all these temples were, polychromatic.
Beautiful.
This is the Northern Plaza, and this is the Southern Plaza. And you can see everything is connected by roads.
It's even more intentional because it's in the center of 4 wells, and why it was so necessary to have it like a calendar and a projection is because, don't mind the vendor behind me, because the seasons don't really change much, so they needed to know when it was harvest season, when they could grow their crops, all the agriculture. So it's really a way of life and really integral to society.
They are coming from other areas and they're bringing symbols that are not Maya, and they have snakes emerging from their bodies. In one hand they're holding spears, and they're also bringing trophies.
This was also a place for a lot of ceremonies, including human sacrifice.
The Spanish got here. They noticed that one of the most strong addictions of the Aztec was precisely gambling in this kind of game, and maybe that is the reason why there will be many cities with a lot of ball games. Chichen Itza has 13 ball games, but this is the largest of all. There's nothing bigger than this. It's almost the size of a football field. It has this high wall with rings. Don't think that's common. From all these thousands and thousands of buildings, only 3 of them have rings.
So the Mayan territory starts in the Yucatan Peninsula and goes all the way down to El Salvador. So right at the end of the height of the Mayan territory, right at the edge, this was created. So it's kind of atypical of Mayan structures. It has a lot of Central American influences. Like the Castillo, the only Mayan thing about it is at the top and what's inside. So there are multiple layers on the inside. So I feel like the biggest thing I've learned today is that this isn't technically Mayan. It's a mix of a bunch of different cultures and a bunch of different influences and a bunch of lots of knowledge. We just took a short little walk from the northern side to the southern side, and this is where families, merchants, maybe scribes would live. The houses, or the remains of the houses, are behind us. And on the northern side, with the big temples, you'd have priests or kings, people involved in the ceremonies happening there. They would live there. It was built for the gods as a center for religion, for commerce, for administration of time, administration of agriculture, really just a way of life, and calculations everywhere. Everything was intentional, everything is meaningful.
The windows are not matching with the doors. The doors are not matching with the staircases. The staircases are not matching in between themselves. So at the beginning it was hard to understand, but now we know that every one of these mistakes is responding to a specific astronomical event. Was built mostly to follow Venus, which is another important star to follow in the Maya cosmogony. And it's also built to follow the alignments of the sun.
Wow.
In 3 specific days.
The Mayans were so smart. They had 2 calendars, and one was so accurate to the calendar we use today. I think it was only like 16 seconds off. That's crazy.
Wax, honey, blood, many more human fluids. Take a look at the decoration. You see it's all coming from their primordial ideas of the dwelling place, the hut.
We're here with all of our best friends.
And it wouldn't be a true tour in Mexico without lunch and a dip in a cenote after. It is kind of high. Well, that was an absolutely amazing experience. Going back to the title of this video, I would absolutely say that Chichen Itza is worth it, but I would say that it's worth it if you go with a guide. You can go without a guide, but I don't know what you would get out of that experience, because our guide Daniel was so knowledgeable. He knew everything about Chichen Itza. He was able to tell us things that we never would have imagined, and I don't even know if we could have Googled it, because we wouldn't have even known what to Google. It was just so amazing. There was more knowledge and information than we could even put in this entire vlog, so highly recommend going to Chichen Itza. We're going to link the tour group that we used for this tour in the description below, so you can find out for yourself what it's like at Chichen Itza. and we highly recommend doing it. So, as always, thanks for watching, and we will see you next week.
Is that weird?
No, it's good.
I don't, like, people probably died. It's even, it's doing it on purpose. It's even 8 a.m. What did I say when I got here this morning? This was also a place for a lot of ceremonies.
Sorry.
Allison's nervous.
Oh my god, you'll be fine.
I think it's the camera.